Welcome to the Thursday episode of More Than Just Task Management, your favorite daily podcast where we help you build a thriving business. I'm Anna Angelova, business coach and consultant, co-host of this daily podcast, and together with me is Jores Minasvand, my co-host and fellow business consultant who is enjoying European summer right now. Hey Joris, how are you doing?
Hey Anna, don't be shy. I'm your sidekick, and I love being a sidekick. And oh my goodness, today it was so warm. I Yesterday I wore a long sleeve because it was cold in the morning. By noon I was boiling and sweating. I had to send both of my shirts for dry cleaning. Today I
Oh,
wore short, yeah, today I wore short sleeves and it was perfect. It was so hot. I walked into the office and air conditioning was full blown. It is warm, like a summer warm here. So I'm not rubbing it in, sorry. But
yeah, please keep on rubbing it
hello,
in.
hello from Styria, southern Styria. I just had a beautiful, original, authentic Styrian dinner. Uh, Calf liver with onion and goulash sauce, with pumpkin and crouton soup, with pumpkin seed oil. Oof.
Okay,
And
now I
about
feel hungry. Now
12
let's
glasses of wine. So
let's go ahead and mm, talk about business.
business first.
One day we might have a food podcast or something like this, but
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
or like a vlog. This is for a
We
different.
will book a restaurant, like a section of a restaurant, while we're eating these livers and drinking Styrian wine. We will do our podcast.
Awesome. One day. Okay. Um, Today the episode is all about reducing risk if your business relies on one key platform. So whether it's for your operations or like, whatever it is, it might be your whole business, right? It might be your whole business. Uh,
Hmm.
Everything from sales to delivery might be on one key platform. So how do you reduce risk? And nowadays with technology, it's really important to think about this. And uh, no business is big enough or small enough to ignore this topic. So that's why we are having this discussion today, and especially like you as a small business, corporations they have even account managers and like very good relationship with those platforms and the people who are responsible for those platforms. And Joris, you know, like you've worked with so many corporations and you've worked
Hmm.
with service providers and software providers as well. And you know that they naturally they pay attention to the corporate, to the enterprise accounts. But as a small,
Hmm.
mid-sized business, you probably don't get any kind of attention. So what do you do? How can you reduce the risk if your business relies on one key platform when it comes to the technology you're using, right? So, Joris, you have so much experience there, and I'll just let you share your thoughts, and I'll chime in if I have anything to
Uh,
share.
Thank you, Anna. I'll try to articulate it. It's all in my head. I just need to articulate it the right way. So it's all about contingency. And if you think about so you're a small business owner, uh, 6:30 in the morning, or if you're an early riser like me, 4:30 in the morning, you walk into you unlock the door, you disarm the alarm, you walk into your business. Stop there and look around. So there are three things that you have to cover in your contingency plan. One is the physical location. If your product or service is reliant on the physical location, then you have to think about contingency for your physical location. Then the second thing is your people. What if you have in your business, if you have 5 people or 20 people, you need to think about is what is the number of bare minimum staff that you need to run your business in a disaster mode. And then the third one is platform and data. What is the technology that I need to have to run my business? if I do even, and what is the data that I need. And then for each one of these, there are different level of contingency, disaster recoveries. And then the second way of looking at this is one is availability. So how quickly do you really need to uh, make your services or product available? So in your business plan, when you're doing your business plan before you start up any kind of business, uh, the largest contributing factor for the business of failure of the business in the first year is finance. The second one is not planning for disaster. So when you plan for your disaster recovery, you say, okay, based on the nature of my business, I need to have a warehouse of 6,000 square feet with the equipment, with the list of equipment in there. I need to have a minimum of 8 people with all of their roles. I need to have platform A, B, C, and D. I need to have a pipeline of 100 gigabit per second, whatever the speed is, to the internet. And I need all of my customer data and all of my applications restored within 3 hours of a start of a business day. And we used to do this. I've done this for I can't say the name because they're a public Ontario public corporation. We for twice a year we used to go to an IBM facility on Steeles and Warden, the big IBM section. We had a section rented, so we would go there at 6 a.m. Replicating a disaster environment. And then the business was timing us. How fast can we restore all the essential systems so for them to be able to pay the pensioners? Because they had pensioners that lived in Vietnam, Thailand, Florida, uh, Australia. And these guys relied on their pension being transferred to them on a timely basis so they can pay their bills. If this company failed, they will be sued by the pensioners, something fierce. So we used to go and so this is how I know how you need to. So again, as a small business, and it could be that I think one of our customers, all she needs to do is to be able to go to an office, fire up a laptop, and log into Clio. She's 99% up and running. So you need to first identify which components of your business are essential and then have a recovery plan for that essential component. And then again, that's not where you stop. What that means is I can in less than 4 hours stand up my business so I can continue the service or the product. That continues to bring revenue, but you don't stop there. Then you take the other 80% of your non-essential business and you restore it. But you need to identify that core part of your business that you require to maintain your revenue generation and have contingency for that. So it's all about contingency. And if you don't have a contingency plan in your business plan, you are walking in a minefield.
Yeah. And nowadays, especially, like one of the things that very interesting, I heard on a training a couple of weeks ago, where I was thinking, will it really go that way? That, with the so-called AI thing that's going on, that like it's getting easier and easier to build in-house.
Yeah.
And if you think about going in that direction, building in-house, it requires that kind of thinking. It requires for you to think about it that, okay, this is a key
Mhm.
platform, if this is something key software that we require, that we need, like you said, Joris, we need, like you need to have contingency, you have the availability, the disaster recovery, all these kind of things. It's really, really important to do this and think about it, go through the process. and figure out a way, because you know what happens, you remember a few times, actually. I think one of them was this year at some point when Facebook was down. It's
Yep.
like it impacted so many people who use it for training, for live videos, for ads,
Mhm.
and all these kind of things. So and this is one of the caveats when you depend on something big like this, that it doesn't happen often, right? Like, so when we're talking about the 99% 0.999
Five nines,
availability,
yeah.
yeah, they have
Yep.
it. Like they probably have it when you think about it. But when this thing
But those are
happen,
for essential services. If your business is identified as essential service, yes. Remember what happened when I was in Europe a few years ago when Rogers went down?
oh yeah, yeah,
All hospital
in Canada
hospital
here.
communication went down, 911 went down, right?
Yep,
So
yep,
this is an essential service. This requires 5.9. But for you, and these are very expensive. The contingency is the most expensive part of business planning and business implementation. That's why a lot of companies ignore it, but they don't understand their at risk they put themselves in. So again, for you, you need to identify what is the bare minimum that you require. Maybe you don't need 5.9s. Maybe you need 88.2. Whatever that is, the difference between 88.2 to 5.9s is could be $2 million a year that you have to pay to have those contingencies available. You can't afford it. So identify what is the bare minimum that you have, what is the bare minimum of your business components, physical location, people, technology, and data. These three pillars that you need to have up and running within 2 to 4 hours for you to continue to generate revenue. Because without revenue, you're bankrupt, right? And without proper service, you lose your brand. So
yep,
do this analysis in the beginning, then do another analysis of how much does it cost for you to implement and maintain this. And then, like I said, this company that we worked with, they were paying the pensioners. So by law, by Ontario law, we were uh, accountable to show the auditors that we twice a year, every 6 months, it was a grueling 24 hours. We showed the auditors that within less than 24 hours, all our essential systems that required to pay the pensioners, almost 3 million pensioners, their pension. And we proved it to them. We actually had transactions paying. We controlled everything over. Now, the biggest lesson that I learned from these exercises was okay, so I have a $20 million a year business. I'm going to spend $200,000 to have recovery, and I'm going to test it once a year or twice a year. During these tests, a realization came to me that I went to the VP of IT, and then together we went to the CEO and we discussed it with them. And we didn't account for this was okay. So you are the essential part of essential team. At 12 a.m. on a Saturday, you get a pager that downtown Toronto is under 16 feet of snow and it's frozen, right? So it's called a protocol. So I think it was just a CEO. He was the only person who could call uh, uh, the DR protocol, disaster recovery protocol. Once he called it, a series of processes would happen. All the key people would get emailed, and they had a document to follow. If I get this email that the CEO called the DR, I need to do this document and go A, B, C, D. So now, fast forward to uh, noon the next day, 12 hours after the midnight. We are noon Sunday. We are in Boston. All of our critical systems are up and running. So we call the CEO and say, we just ran our pension payment. 5,600 pensioners that were supposed to get paid on Sunday got paid. Everything is beautiful, right? We just downtown Toronto crashed. We rebuilt the business in 12 hours in downtown Boston. What's next? What happens afterwards? Can we operate for next 16 years in downtown Boston? No. At some point, when all the snow thaws in downtown Toronto, we have to bring the business systems back to Toronto. And we realized we couldn't do that. The cost of doing that was not 200,000, but maybe 2 million, maybe more. So it's such a, it's not a dogma, but it's such a incredible circular problem that you can spend millions in documenting, practicing your DR, and you put a medal on your shoulder and say, we are ready for DR, but we're not ready to come back. Oops.
Yep. Oops.
Oops. Yep, we didn't tell the auditors because auditors never questions us. Even this is the flaw. Auditors never questions us. How long would it take you to come back? In 12 hours, you restored all the systems in Boston. How are you going to bring it back to Toronto? So
Yep.
you need to do all of this planning if you really care about your business. And again, your scale would be $20,000 and cost of bringing it back is $50,000, but you need to plan for these.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
you never know
one thing,
when.
I know it's going a little bit like a longer conversation, but with all the experience
Yeah,
you
sorry,
have,
I yap a
and
lot. Yeah.
it's important. Like it's an important conversation. But one thing that as well that I think we need to mention today, like the other thing, especially if your business is it's not a mama papa shop that's like making 50,000 a year. If it's more of a
Hmm.
mid-sized business, one of the other
Yep.
things when it comes to reducing risk in terms of like when your business relies on one key platform, it's also cybersecurity.
Yep.
This is another thing
Hackers.
you need to be very careful with, and it's
Yep.
not just the customer data. And I know at some point I saw a few articles. I think a couple of these companies were in UK, if I'm not mistaken, and I think one of them actually had to file for bankruptcy, where they were locked out of like of their system, and there was a ransom demand, and they couldn't afford it. They couldn't do anything about it, and they had to file for bankruptcy. So this is another important aspect of today's world, and especially if you are utilizing AI to build your own tools and software,
Hmm.
where like, you are not the professional and you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. This is a very, very important. And cybersecurity will probably become a key topic that even as a small, mid-sized business owner, you need to be aware of.
Absolutely. That's part of the biggest part of DR since 2012 for any kind of corporation has been cybersecurity hack, like denial of service, being hacked, or whatever. Absolutely, it's very important. And how do you recover from that?
Mhm. So,
So yeah, it went a little bit
ultim-
long, but these are essential. Again, as a business owner, it's your decision to make. Do I want to spend the money and sleep tight overnight, or can I? What is the it's mitigation, right? What is my risk tolerance as a business owner,
yes, yeah,
right?
absolutely,
So I
absolutely.
can, how can I much tolerate? So I have 6 months of reserves in my bank account, and I'm pretty confident with my brand will not get hurt. My customers, they rather me spend less money and keep the prices low than me having planning for all these contingencies, spend the money and raise the prices. So what is my risk tolerance? I can be down for a week. That's okay. What I'll do is I'll go to a cyber cafe. I'm going to open up my email list, my top 20 customers that generate 20% of customers that generate most of my 80% of my revenue. I'm going to email them and say we were attacked or Toronto is underwater, blah, 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 and then expect delays. That's fine. But if you have zero tolerance for risk or can't afford it, you only have 30 days of payroll in your bank account and you need the revenue within hours, then it's a different story. But you need to do that assessment. It's very important.
Yeah. And when it comes to this, unless you are the expert, what I would say highly, highly recommend is get expert help. Like when it comes
I
to
agree.
reducing risk
Hmm?
for your business,
Yep.
especially if you rely on a key platform, get expert help. Get expert help for cybersecurity, get expert help for these contingencies we've been talking about. It's something that, like, it's an investment in your business. It's an investment, like you said, Joris, like if you are worrying about it and have sleepless nights, isn't it better to invest and be able to sleep well because you know that you have taken care of these things?
100%. Again, what is your risk tolerance? There's a measure, there's a KPI called risk tolerance, which you need to put that KPI, measure that KPI for your business, and make a decision. But yeah, it's like it all depends on what your risk level tolerance is. And again, some of the like part of the risk tolerance is personal, but part of it is also the criticality of your business and how long can you be down without losing your brand quality or your customers. So you need
Yes.
to do all of uh,
Calculations, like see, yeah,
calculation.
see,
Yes,
absolutely, absolutely. So
100%.
I would highly recommend as an action item for today. uh, I would say this is one of those conversations where it's like don't freak out, but
Mhm.
don't freak out. So
Yeah, like
as a call to action, like an action item for you, an action item for you after listening to this episode is to go calculate this. Look at numbers, like look at where
mhm.
you are, like what do your financials look like, and see how long can you afford to stay afloat, and then thinking about, okay, imagine I don't have my system. What
Yep.
happens? Can I even contact my clients? Can I even let them know what's
Hmm.
going on?
Yep.
Like really
Yep.
really think about this, and then based on this, then you can see, okay, this is where we are. Like you said, it looks like it's 6 months. It's good. It's not like it's not urgent or something like this, so you might actually budget for something uh,
Hmm.
for the next year, for an investment next year, for example, to
Yep.
start, at least start something. Or you might found that, oopsie, it's actually 30 days, and maybe it's good to look into this now. So highly recommend. Don't just listen to this conversation. Don't just freak out. Take action. Action always helps when you freak out. And also, the other thing that we've been mentioning this week, and I'm inviting you again for more on this topic and all topics related to running a business, to being a business owner in 21st century, a visionary business owner in 21st century. Join our community, join the Visionary Founders Club. It's a brand new community. We just soft launched it, a couple of days ago. And most of the people that are part of the community right now are people that we've personally reached out to, and they joined the moment we offered it, they joined. So it's a new community, a growing community designed specifically for business owners, where we have these kind of conversations and these kind of topics, additional resources, additional help. So highly recommend join it. The link is in the description of this podcast episode, and we would really be happy to see you there.
Yep. I just want to close the conversation with this one small note, and this is where experience bec- becomes helpful. So we were just talking about almost 30 minutes. We talked about disaster where Toronto goes on snow or water, or New York is covered by a tsunami or whatever. But there are smaller disasters that can happen, you don't plan for them, that may affect your business. So, for example, remember in the early 2000s, late 90s and early 2000, when the e-commerce economy to boom, it boomed again. That had an e-commerce website, and remember, e-commerce website had HTTPS, so it had to be secure. This gentleman, in his infinite, whether he forgot or neglected, he did not renew his certificate. And all of a sudden, his website stopped purchasing. Back then, it wasn't a renewal of your certificate. It used to take.
I'm hearing you a little bit choppy. So all of a sudden, what happened?
Oh, sorry. His certificate, his website certificate expired. He let the certificate lapse. So when you create a website, you issue a certificate, makes your HTTPS secure, you can do e-commerce transactions.
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
Right? He let it expire. He didn't pay attention. He let it expire. Back then, NBC used to renew these certificates, and it took 3 days. His e-commerce website was down for 3 days, and this is a big disaster for a small business because it doesn't have to be snow or a tsunami. It could be a technology mistake. One of the CEOs I worked with, he called me on a Saturday night, 9 p.m., and said, I was doing account to the website. I did a delete star with no parameter, and I just realized I don't have a backup. I need your help. This guy deleted his entire financial from day one, 15 years of financial information with one keystroke. That's a disaster, right? So I'm just saying, that's why I said, close your eyes, walk into your all of the components in business, from physical location, human being, human mistakes, or not availability, and technology, and account for those based on your risk level. Sorry, I rambled on, but this is a very important topic for us to cover for owners.
It is a very important topic, and you're right that disaster recovery doesn't mean and not having your system, right? It doesn't mean the need to be a disaster. It can be human error. It can be someone, like you said, forgetting to renew the certificate, the security certificate for the website, where it's like who would go and provide their data on an e-commerce site, like provide credit card information, things like this. So absolutely. And again, it's a topic that is really important.
This is not secure. Don't put your.
Yeah, it tells you. And this is a really important topic. That's why I highly urge you, join the community. This is where we share even more on all these important topics. We have different types of posts and different resources to help you with running your business.
Yeah, and you have access to us and all of our experiences, right?
Yep, absolutely. And so yeah, go join it. And tomorrow, join the community. We'd love to see you there. And tomorrow, we are wrapping up the week with a shorter conversation, most likely. Should you hire family and friends for your business, especially in the early stages when you are starting, when you probably don't have any kind of revenue and you don't have money to pay people? So should you hire family or friends? This is something that probably a lot of us have been thinking about. So join us tomorrow for another conversation and another episode of More Than Just Task Management. this is your favorite daily podcast. Sometimes we talk for 10 minutes, sometimes we talk for 35 minutes. So
Yeah,
you never know.
I promise I won't ramble on tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, Joris. Really, really, thank you so much. You have so much experience and knowledge in this area. It was so great hearing everything you know about it. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow's conversation. Okay, bye.
I lived so many of these, not funny. But thank you for having me, Anna. And happy Thursday. And we'll see everyone and you and everyone and you and everyone on Friday.
Yep,
Not
tomorrow.
everyone, just you.
Okay. Okay, bye.